Mc- here.
But I clicked that once, but it
It's,
didn't.
it's all right. No, I lose my train of thought when those things pop up. Sorry. So essentially, I broke it down into pieces, put it back together, and then powered it on, and it started working. I'm typing it; it's great. It's like, oh, this is awesome. Powered it off, didn't touch a thing. Powered it on, and it's essentially dead again, back to what it was doing. So, I I must have jarred something or did something when I was moving the whole um it's a whole roller with the print head. It's a whole assembly of it. So the idea was, honestly, that thing was. I do. You can hook it. It's only 300 baud. You can't get it. It has an acoustical modem on top, but there is a DB15 on it that you can hook, that you can wire up for RS-232. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to have something like an older style terminal. Those were from the 70s. Mainly for, I think, for clicking, signing on, hooking to systems. People would sign them out. My brother said years back when he was in college, they'd sign them out, and bring them to the dorms. So, um, so yeah, that's what that was. Well, I had it, got it to work once, and it very aggravating. Such is life. So
I think that is the very definition of vintage computing. I got it to work once.
once, and I got the proof. So I got a little piece of paper that has a bunch of gibberish on it as I'm just slamming on keys.
Yeah, that's kind of like the other day I put in a flex RAM card
Yeah.
and Z80 what was it, the SSM CB2 card into an Altair 8800C chassis, an oak wood cabinet that I made.
Yeah.
So I got the RAM and the CPU, and it also has my second Everhart 88 2SIO JP in there.
Okay.
I turn it on. I get the AMON prompt on the computer screen.
Mhm.
So I turned it off, sat down, and started making a little micro SD card for an ESP module to boot CPM from that. And when I go to plug that in on the second port on the computer, now it doesn't boot.
Oh, nice.
So I start pulling cards out to see what's going on, and
Did you
yeah,
get it working or not?
not yet.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll beat on it some more tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, here's another example
Yeah.
of intermittent.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I gotta
What
zoom
is
in.
that, Terry?
That's the output of the Sol 20.
Oh, okay.
Hey, it says hello.
There's the Sol 20 all ripped apart. The funny thing is, it's very intermittent as well. I've got the motherboard loose now. I can just tap it a little bit, and it stops working completely.
Oh,
Oh,
awesome.
great.
And it won't. You reset it, and nothing happens. You power it down, and it powers back up, and usually powers back up, yep, in gibberish.
Oh man.
Yeah, my
Nice.
saw had lots of not rust corrosion, but corrosion. I'm not sure from what. Um, and mine would do that a lot until I just started cycling like the RAM chips. And there was a couple of bus select chips up near the S100 bus area on the main board that if I ever get like that, I just cycle a few of those and it works again.
I may have to.
Times you've cycled your chips in and out of your sockets, but
Yeah, I might have to do that. I've already cycled and then swapped the two sets of 2102s.
right, yeah, those are notorious.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, back behind that red ribbon cable up near that connector, there's some ones, there 357s or something that was always an issue on mine.
Yep. I just touched that area and look at what happened now.
So that's, yeah.
Bingo.
Now I'll reboot it. And now
You got the prompt.
Run.
Hey, you got
Okay,
a
sounds like it's something to
Fixed
give
it.
a go.
Yeah, just start cycling some of those up there in that area. I
Okay.
get 367s, and then things get better for a while until next time you use it.
Oh, goody.
I think that's what we were talking about. That's the definition of vintage computer hobby.
Yeah.
Used to work or work
Yeah.
once.
Yeah,
I got it to work once. Yeah.
pushing on socket board, pushing on chips and sockets, and then pulling boards out of connectors and putting them back in, and then it works again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's odd
Okay.
is Southwest Technical with all those pins, and sockets, the Molex pin and sockets instead of the card edge, is
Yeah.
so hard to get them in and out. It takes all sorts of force, and yet it's just as finicky. I mean, you have to move those around every time you turn it on before it's reliable.
Oh God.
I mean, they're not gold plated or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really touching on just one side. So the socket is flat, the connector, and it's only touching one side of a round pin. So you see, there's not a lot of contact area. And it's not gold. So yeah, in reality, it's no better. In fact, it could even be worse than the card edge connectors with dual gold contacts.
I wonder if it would be worth it to just replace the sockets with new
Oh,
sockets.
heck no. I mean, unsoldering all those sockets?
Well,
Destroy
only
the board.
only the chips that regularly fail.
You mean any of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jonathan Chapman brought mine alive, and he said what he ended up doing is he removed all the extra crap that somebody had put on the board, because there was like 20 or 30 wires running all over the top and the bottom of the board. He removed all that, put it back to an original Sol 20 configuration, and he says he pulled out every chip, cleaned all the pins on the chip and put them back in, and then it worked.
Yeah, this motherboard has a bunch of added wires going various places as well.
Well, are they the documented board revs, ECNs?
I haven't found the documentation for the mods yet.
Yeah, the problem is there's like 10 different people made 10 different kinds of mods to those boards. And a couple of them were to speed it up, and some of them changed how the IO worked. And because I was looking
There's a number of official ECNs that are in the manual. I mean,
Yeah.
there's good, versions A through F of mods. So some of those might be factory. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Jonathan Chapman, when he looked at the mods on my board, he says none of them were in any of the manuals from Processor Technology. They were
Oh.
third-party
Yeah.
modifications.
Well, I'm surprised nobody else popped up here. I wonder if the link I gave him doesn't work. Patrick, did you try your short link today? Did it work?
I didn't try it today. I think I tried it a couple days ago.
I think that's what I sent everybody. I had a lot of people respond to it even, so I figured there'd be at least a few people popping.
I see two new people that I
see
hadn't seen before.
Graham at
CP
CP
and
and Todd. Right?
I'm not seeing them. I don't know how to use this though.
Just check it. There should be a view button that you can
Oh, wait,
usually
no, I
see.
can scroll through them. Okay, I see some people now.
It's way more difficult than CPM.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the
Yeah,
mod.
Mike, this is Todd. I did use your short.
Oh, it works.
short
Okay.
link.
Okay, great.
Connected
Hey,
me.
something
Thanks for jumping
something
in.
worked. Thanks for letting us know.
That's
There's the mods on the back of the Sol 20
Oh,
motherboard.
wow.
Just set up my Linux laptop and I realized I don't have my camera.
Yeah, I think my manual had the ECNs in the manual because it was a newer manual. But if you have an older manual, of course, it won't know the future yet.
Yeah, I've got an
unless
older
the owner-
manual.
Those could be original. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful manual compared to Altair. And you notice that the outside binder folds in half to make its own pedestal out of the manual.
Oh no, I didn't notice that.
That's pretty cool. If it's the brown one.
No, it's a black one.
Is it? I can't remember.
That's interesting.
Must be an older manual. This
Were the, oh, go
all the
ahead.
chips, almost all the chips have a 76 date code. So this must be an early.
See this big line through here?
Yeah.
That right there is it folds on that and becomes its own pedestal. Although you hate to do it to something this old.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. uh,
I wish I had a saw. They're just
yeah.
really neat.
Yeah. They
should-
don't pop up too often. I see them every now and then, but they want a lot for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My manual doesn't have that.
Hmm.
So mine must be an early one.
Yeah. Were the saws the ones I remember reading or hearing about? The keyboards. Yeah, you have to. A lot of times you have to do some work to get the keyboards going or something
Every
on them.
time.
Every time.
Yeah.
Is it, okay.
Hey, don't say that too loud. Mine's the keyboard is the only thing that works fine.
Really? Nothing feels better than those Keytronics keyboards. I mean, compared to any other keyboard that was, literal switches like on your Hazeltines or your
Yeah.
H13s or all
Yeah.
those Keytronic keyboards feel great. But yeah, those foam pads are a disaster.
That was the foam pads that I remember hearing. Okay.
Well, I've already done the phone pads twice on K-Pros, so I'm familiar.
Oh, it has the same thing? I have a K-Pro 10 here. I haven't done much with it.
Yeah, I got a K-Pro 10. One of the K-Pro 10s I had to do, and I had to do a K-Pro 4. And it's pretty similar. It's got that little foam with the little aluminum or whatever
Right.
it is, aluminum foil. You buy
That
the
K-Pro 10
kit
was my
online,
dad's.
and then you just spend a day taking things apart and putting it back together.
Yeah, as long as it's a
Okay.
snap-in kind. There was a kind that had to glue in, but most of them snap in with that little
Yeah.
disc. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there, Walters. You got some there, Walt? Oh, okay.
This takes your USB keyboard and it outputs TTL data serially. And I actually made this little project. If I can. I made this little project. And the video is online and it shows the USB keyboard going through the little adapter board and then outputting parallel data. So you can use it for serial or parallel data.
There's just no standard in connectors, no matter what you're wiring up to somebody's connector, whether it's polymorphic or whoever.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the thing is you can get a connector on.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying that's
Yeah.
a good way to get one out of your modern keyboard, I guess.
But the main thing is, but the company that made these, they quit making them.
Of course. It's useful.
Well, I think they just wanted too much money because when they were making these, they were like $50 each or 40
Oh,
bucks.
wow.
And then it was another $25 shipping to the United States, to there in the UK.
Okay.
They just wanted too much money. So I figured, okay, I'll just buy a handful of them in case somebody needs some and help save people shipping because there's just one shipping charge. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't have anything that needs parallel at this point. No,
Yeah, the biggest issue you got to watch out for is some of them want 5 volts out to the keyboard. Some of them are regulated and want 12. And yeah, you try another keyboard. I have 2 keyboards that fit polymorphics. One fits a Poly 88, one fits Poly 8813. Both of them have the same DB25 connector wired the same, but one keyboard wants something over 5 because it's regulated. The other one wants it at 5. And fortunately, it lived through it, but I had the wrong one plugged in. The one providing 12 volts or 8 volts plugged into the 5 volt line. It survived, but it was like one of those, oh shit moments.
Yeah.
Like hot inserting cards. You go, oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah.
Don't let the smoke out.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's the handy thing about that little adapter. It runs on 3.3 or 5 volts. And on the output, you're getting, the TTL out so you can.
Well, that's powered by the USB probably, right?
Huh?
I know the keyboard wouldn't have power though.
Well, you have to add power to the side of the board to power it. The keyboard plugs in the USB port. You add 5 volts or 3 volts on the side connector, and then your output goes to,
So just don't plug it into a 12-volt keyboard connector like I did.
yeah, well, but that's just getting another chip in line there to change the voltages.
Which you realize after you just screw it up.
Yeah, yeah. If you know ahead of time, yeah.
What's that smell? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Patrick, did you get my emails?
I did. I did. I was going to write you back. Thanks for the feedback. I'll look at the stuff. But yeah, to answer the one question, yes, that's why I never put the keyboard mapping into the 2SIO device on Altair Z80, because as soon as you start doing like PC get and X modem and stuff, it screws everything up. Because it has no idea you're using.
Right,
That.
so, yeah.
What I could do is if you attach a serial port, I can disable the mapping automatically.
Well, you've done all this, so how did you do it? You just do that through a second port instead of the console?
No, like so on the Altair Z80, it had the SIO device,
Right.
which was normally the console, and it did all the mapping and all this stuff. I added like these M2 SIO devices that were just like they were more accurate to the hardware. You can attach serial ports. I didn't do any mapping because
Oh, but it shows mapping as options in your file you sent me.
yeah, because I added it for Joe because he started using it and he's using Windows. And
I
Windows,
use Linux.
well, you should have been able to change it. But anyways, I added it there because he was having to like always change his terminals around. So I said, okay, well, whatever, I'll put it back in. And now I think it's a mistake.
Well, I thought maybe it has something to do with that. I remember you mentioning the console option.
Yeah, and that's just because if you start mucking with like a 2R to 2SIO, you got like multiple serial ports in there. They all want to pull the keyboard. So that just says, hey, which one of these devices is actually going to pull the keyboard for the console? But maybe what I should do, like I said, the 2SIO, I didn't do any mapping at all. If you wanted to change mapping, you did it in your terminal software.
Okay, so even though it's in the manual or that sheet you sent me, it doesn't really do it?
No, it does do it. I added it later,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's what
My original
version I put
8N1?
out. In my original version, I didn't do any mapping.
Okay.
And then when people using Altair Z80 started using it, it started being a problem for them, so I added it.
I'm trying to remember what it was. I do remember you adjusting it. I don't remember what
It's
my
probably
issue
backspace.
was. Oh, it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. That's
backspace for
that was a
delete for
pet
backspace, yeah.
peeve for me. Yeah.
See, my Mac, I just have a checkbox that says, convert delete to backspace or backspace to delete, and that's just what I do.
Yeah, I could probably do it. Mini
If you're
So
running
Minicom,
that's in Terraterm as well, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure
running,
Minicom has it as well.
if you're running like a Windows command line, you can't, as far as I know, you can't change anything it does.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, again, I'm not doing Windows, but yeah,
So what I'll
Minicom probably has it.
What I'll probably do is if you attach a COM port, maybe what I'll do is just disable it. Just turn off all mapping.
Well, but that's when he needed it. Now, if I just use the second one, the one that's at 12 and 13 hex, does it map that or not?
I can't remember if I did both ports or not. Probably
I
not.
could just do.
Yeah, try the second port. I can't remember what I did. Like I said, I might just yank it out because I don't want it there anyways.
But the other problem is I couldn't get 8N1. Where do you specify that? It was just randomly picking them.
That's done through when you program the 2SIO. When you do the out.
Oh, yeah. So why on earth is it telling me that? Because it wouldn't work. And when I did show, it showed 7E1 every time.
It should work. Now, if it's not working, I'll check it.
I don't know. Okay, I'll play with it some more.
Because the problem I ran into is I ran into a problem with, because remember, this is all built on SimH. And I ran into some problems where if I want to be able to control RTS, DTR, do all the stuff like myself, then like it doesn't let me do some things through their SIO stuff. So you can set the baud rate through the command line. But if you did baud rate, N81 or whatever it is, it'll give you some,
that would make no sense. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it'll give you some error that says, hey, you can't do that. So it all has to be programmed through.
It worked for a second, and then it stopped working, and that's when I noticed it was set to 7E1. So that's what it doesn't like. So
let me double check all that. I got your email. I just haven't responded to it yet.
Okay. And then later I got to thinking about I mean, you have to throttle so that timeouts are right? What do you do
Yes.
there?
I do like set throttle space like 500 comma 1 or 500/1, and that just does a 1 millisecond delay every 500 instructions, and that'll get you running around 2, 3, 4 megahertz.
But then I'm losing my speed advantage of doing this to begin with.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Otherwise exponent times out.
I just went back to real drives and everything this morning to finish my project. I mean, I should have done this 3 weeks ago, but so I've done it all, had to do it all with real drives for getting this other stuff I'm working on working. That's probably the most I've ever worked with real drives, because I usually have some sort of emulator or something I can do the grunt work on before I move to real systems at the end.
Yeah.
So I don't wear them out.
That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
But like I said, the Altair 800 simulator, it's brand new and there's hardly anybody using it. So, until people start using it and get some feedback,
Right.
find bugs, and
Seems to work for what focus things I'm doing. I've been using it almost exclusively these days.
yeah, I got a whole nother list of stuff to upload, like adding ICOM, and they found a problem with the Dazzler.
Oh, okay.
For when it does the vertical blank and the frame stuff, it's doing 30 frames a second instead of 60. Just little things like that.
Yeah, I think when I did my Dazzler, I think I did that on the Z80. I don't know if I did that on yours. That was down back towards Christmas. I remember doing that Christmas tree, way back when. So, okay.
So any of you new guys have any questions or anything you want to ask about or tell us what you're doing?
Well, I did get double density working on the Tarbell.
You did? Good.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, I cannot boot from the PROM, but I can hex load a boot loader and it'll boot.
I think that was pretty common because you quite often saw a boot PROM anyway.
Okay.
A normal EEPROM as opposed to the injected code, at least on the first Tarbell. I don't know, the second one probably does it the same way.
Well, I read about somewhere where it thinks, and I haven't looked, but it sounds like the timing can get off somewhere and it like disables the PROM before it's done loading. So something crazy like that. You change out a capacitor and put a resistor somewhere.
See, that's one of those situations. I put this on the Flex 64K board. Phantom never defined a processor technology in the SOL 20 and then the GPM board for the, what's it called, subsystem B boards. That's what came up with the Phantom technique for doing a jump start, as opposed to using the status bits. The problem is there was two options. You could do read-write Phantom, which blocked both reads and writes, or it could be read-only Phantom, where it blocked reads but not writes.
Mm-hmm.
And that Tarbell, I think, is one of those that has to, what it writes has to go through, because then it needs to be in RAM when it's done.
Yeah, because the PROM's at 0 and it's loading the bootloader at 0.
Right. So you've got to find out whether or not your board Phantom's full Phantom or read-only Phantom.
Yeah, it worked. I'm using your Flex board and it works great at 2 megahertz. I just can't get it to do it at 4.
Okay.
Yeah, it works awesome at 2, and but I just haven't spent the time, because then even though I booted, then I still just couldn't get double density to work right.
Yeah.
And that turned out to be, I just kind of noticed one day, it's like, why is my wait light glowing when I'm running stuff? So I must have a wait state or something somewhere. So I looked at I'm using a CCS Z80 board, and it has, three pins, and next to this pin it says wait state on. So that's where I had my jump, or have my jumper on the opposite one. But it turns out where on is actually off. I got the schematic out, so I moved the jumper, and then, and suddenly everything started working.
Oh yeah, I love that.
I'm gonna have to talk to you sometime about that, because I've got 2 of the Tarbell double densities, and I couldn't get either one to work.
Okay,
but the single densities work fine.
Yeah, like now I got because I borrowed the board, so now I got boot discs I'm going to send back with them, single density, double density, plus the public domain disk 2, I think it is. But no, it was working really well. The only thing it does weird is it does a lot of head loading and unloading.
Oh, yeah.
Like every time it wants to seek or do something, it's all clank, 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 clank.
Yeah, the first Tarbell CPMs, I'd never heard the heads that much, because I've been
Yeah.
using the, well, actually, Altair Basic is the same way. It does it every sector.
Man.
Yeah.
And then with the Shugart drives, I never heard it because it's a slow head unload and it's so quick on the Altair Basic, you never heard it. But when I first started doing it on the real PerTech drives, then you hear it just chattering, which was annoying. But then, yeah, the Tarbell using the 1771, you don't really have control over the head load. It's going to unload it, within 3 revolutions or whatever it is, I forget. And so on 1.4, you would hear it unloading all the time. And then they start things up a bit. And in 2.2, it didn't unload near as often.
Oh boy, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just using the Shugart 801s and they're just clank, 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 clank,
Yeah.
making all kinds of racket.
Yeah, I got that Tarbell too, like I said a few weeks ago. I still need to get mine going, but it's been sitting out. It's a project I abandoned when 3 or 4 new projects came up that I've been on ever since instead.
Well, that Tarbell single density controller was so nice. I ended up having 3 of them on 3 different computers since about 78 or so, and it works very reliably.
Yeah, I have had 2 of those. I traded one of them for the double density just so I could have both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd like to get a double density. This one I'm going to send back here real soon.
Yeah, that's one of those boards where the PROM was pretty common to have, even on the single density. And then I took the PROM, for some reason, it took 2 1702s. It easily fits in one. And then I made it where it was relocatable. So you take the same PROM and stick it anywhere you want, and it just works. So,
okay.
Whether you stuck it on a Altair turnkey board or on their wherever you need to stick it, you just stick it there and it worked. It's hard to write relocatable code or position independent code in the 8080, but it's doable for some simple stuff like that. I saw the trick on the Micropolis bootloader that's in TTL ROM on their board, kind of like the Tarbell, except theirs you jump to. It's not part of the boot circuit. But yeah, I saw their trick of working no matter where the board was addressed. I never thought of that. That's pretty cool. So
yeah, we need to make one for the double density that doesn't invert the drive selector.
Yeah.
Something. And I started messing around with it because the double density has a DMA controller.
Well, I was wondering, do you ever use that, or you do it?
I haven't been able to get that to work, but I did kind of mess around with some kind of auto detect stuff that says, hey, if I read that port and get back an FF, then it might be a Tarbell single density, and if I get back whatever, I think it's a 7F.
Yeah.
Then hey, I can maybe assume it's a double density, and you don't do that.
But I just went through all that with my utilities for the ICOM stuff to figure out if it was a 3812, a 3712, which is also an FD360, or if it's 3712 with my board in there. Because my board can format on a 360 or 3712, whereas the originals couldn't.
That's right. I ran across that.
Yeah. So PC to flop and flop to PC, I wanted those to be 1 instead of 3 of them. And so, yeah, there's always some subtle difference you can figure out. Well, not always, but usually you can find something to help identify what you're running on.
That's what I want to do with like PC to flop for the Tarbell, is kind of have one that hopefully would work with both without having to. Of course, it would be easy enough just to say which one you're using.
Right.
But
well, it's nice when it can go out and figure out if it's single or double density, like if you're doing flop to PC. Figure it out ahead of time so you don't have to ask the user.
Yeah.
Or I think what mine does is it says double density detected, but it still gives you the option to change it.
Yeah. So that's what I think I have it working well enough I can do the rest of the stuff on the simulator when I send this one back. But unless you want to send one of your double densities here, and I can plug it in and see if it works.
Yeah, I might do that.
And send you some discs back.
That would be great.
Terry, have you ever run
Thank you.
the CPM on your Tarbells?
I'm sorry?
You've run CPM on your Tarbells, I assume.
Oh, yeah, that's all I ran. Yeah.
Are you still using those, or do you still have those?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever tried the track buffered CPM?
No, I saw that. I think a couple months ago you mentioned that in an email, and I keep thinking I need to do that, but at the moment my IMSAI is kind of, the front panel's off because I'm trying to make a new front panel and I'm trying to match the plexiglass up. But yeah, I've got right. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. I do have one machine that's working. Where's this? Here we go. There's my IMSAI,
Yeah.
and there's the three 8-inch,
Oh, yeah.
three SE800s. And
Oh,
then,
so you've got that weird first style where it has the bulge in the edges.
oh, I've got both. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of those, and I couldn't figure that was actually the original, the one on the right, which is now far more common. At least I see a lot more of them. They made that one so you could put two of them side by side in a 19-inch rack. The other ones were too wide.
Yeah. Well, you see, I mounted them. Yeah, I mounted them vertically. And then there's my H19.
Yeah.
Which I share between the IMSAI and my 8800 turnkey, 8800B turnkey, actually.
Nice.
And there's two more, the two 800s attached.
You're all
to the
set
turnkey.
for 800s.
Oh, I've got like 17.
Oh, so you got those upside down. So
yep.
So it's interesting that you have to change head spring settings and actual change door springs on those things.
Yes. Yes.
Depending on which way you're mounting them.
Yeah. I mounted them upside down because the chassis that they're in had to have them upside down. And I don't know why. And
That's the springs for the head load.
What I should have done is I should have just put the whole chassis on this slide upside down.
yeah.
Because you can see what I mean by the whole chassis is upside down. There's one of the feet.
Yeah, well, just leave it like it is. Otherwise, it won't work unless you change the springs.
Yeah. But
great. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's new. That's good stuff.
Mine are always on their side.
I think I've got like 17 SE800 801s and probably about 5 now 851s. For a long time, I was collecting drives.
The 851 is the full height double-sided or the half height?
Yes, the full height. Double-sided, double density.
Because you can run 1.5 megabyte CPM on those.
That's what I was planning on doing. Yeah.
Actually, that the track buffered CPM, of course, you can run a PC to flop, or you can just upload move CPM for it, and it will just update an existing disk to the new stuff. But I'm curious to see your reaction after you run yours all these years and then run the track buffered.
Yeah.
Because that one came out super efficient. It can read consecutive sectors, so it doesn't have to even slip 2 revs. It just, it's super fast and super, I mean, it's impressive how fast an old machine could be. It kind of surprised me.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Still surprised. I mean, it still amazes me that the controller can say, hey, here's the sector you want. And the program can see that and get around to reading it before the disk has moved far enough to get the byte. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, the tightest one is a write. So it has to read the ID field, turn around, turn on the right amplifier, switch all that, which has, quite a few microseconds of time. And that's how the gaps are determined on that. Because that's to be able to turn that on and then start writing. So Shugart had a straddle head, which meant the trim erase was in line with the read and write head, as opposed to trailing it. Most everybody else had a saddle erase, and it was 400 microseconds behind, and so that was your limiting factor. So Shugart, technically, you could pack more onto a disk if you wanted, but then nobody did because then you lose interchangeability.
Yeah, I always get impressed at how fast the Altair or the 8080 at 2 megahertz actually is.
Well, they can get a lot done. It's really remarkable.
It's incredible.
Oh yeah.
And on the saddle erase, you have to worry about, like on a track buffer, you've just written the whole track. let's say it comes in to do a read, the read's on a different track. So what does the track buffer BIOS do? It has to flush the old one it might have, right?
Mhm.
So it writes sectors 1 through 26, and then it's ready to go move and read the new sector, new track, I mean. Well, it can't move because the trim erase heads could easily be roughly 500 microseconds behind it. So you've got to sit there in a loop for at least 600 microseconds. Otherwise, you'll put a smear across the disk from the trim erase heads. And you don't notice this stuff until certain things just don't start. Man, why is this always clobber? It's always the last sector too that seems to get clobber. I'm not sure why. But yeah, I mean, the newer drives don't let you. So like your TAC 55 GFRs, all that stuff, it prevents all that for the most part. But yeah,
There
the
you go,
older
Mike.
drives, you start moving the head too soon. Now, again, the Shugart had the straddle, so it was very, very quick and you could move it. But most every other drive, for example, the CUME, the full height double-sided CUME, what's it called? The CUME track. It has two names. But anyway, that was very popular double-sided 8-inch full height as well. But it had the tunnel erase heads were behind the read write heads. And so that one you could smear pretty easily. But I did all my work on Shugarts and never noticed it. But then you move to other drives and you go, wait a minute, why is this clobbering this data?
There you go, Mike.
Oh, what you got there?
Tarbell 56K.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things I did was, unfortunately, it's not standard, but the
IMSAI.
and the Gen 2 or whatever you want to call it, Altair use the same floppy disks. The BIOS was the same, everything was the same. So I actually have three. I've got another original Altair 8800 somewhere in the shack that also had the Tarbell controller and the disk IO, the BIOS in the same ports. So all three of them could boot off the exact same floppy image.
So did you use 2SIO in all of them or the IMSAI-SIO?
No, actually, I don't remember which board. Oh, it is a 2SIO down on the
Oh yeah.
On the IMSAI as well?
The IMSAI. Yeah, there's the 2SIO on the IMSAI.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And then in front of it's the Tarbell controller, single density. And then in front of that is a RAM-17.
I love that board too, yeah.
Yeah. I wish I could find some more RAM-17s because it's really nice because it replaces like all those 8K boards.
Well, and you can use it for EEPROM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have and it's still vintage. I mean, it's 1980, but it's still huge improvement from 3 years earlier, even.
Yeah.
So, any of you guys heard of Martin Eberhard's Memon?
Mm-hmm.
So I made a Tarbell BIOS for Memon, which you can configure Memon for any console practically. It can be 2SIO, it could be IMSAI, it could be CompuPro, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. But that would do the same thing. You could run one disk on any of them because the BIOS itself is calling Memon to do console IO, printer IO, reader punch. And so that part is all hardware abstracted on behalf of the BIOS. So it would run on any of them, even if it did have different serial ports. I did that for somebody else, a guy in Switzerland wanted it done. But yeah, I had, of course, test it and prove it out here. I don't really use Memon, but that's another way to get one disk that can run on 5 machines, if you have the same controller, of course. But let Memon handle the actual console IO at least. Although PC get, PC put wouldn't work. Although maybe I did do a version that went through Memon now that you mentioned, I can't remember.
Yeah, I used to love that Tarbell single density controller. It just was bulletproof. It worked and worked and worked.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I did all my ICOM stuff, is I'd have to format it using that controller. I'd have to use PC to flop on that controller to then go use it over on the ICOM stuff, which couldn't do any formatting.
So yeah, I guess we have a few new guys. Do you guys have anything you wanted to share or something? I mean, just figured I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, sure. This is Todd. I switched to a different laptop, so I think I've got a camera going now. I can
Yeah,
probably
we see you there, Todd.
show you. Yeah. So this is my we call this effectively Big Blue, this rack mount.
Oh, look at all those drives.
Yeah. I'm thinking my the camera down there, but yeah, I got a pair of two 801s there, and then 410 and 840. I bought this chassis, this whole rack originally from Free Geek, which is a local electronics refurbisher, recycler, or nonprofit.
Todd, get closer to your microphone or something. We can't understand it.
Okay, I'm not. Can you hear me a little better now?
Oh yeah, that's much better, bud.
Okay. So yeah, so I bought the chassis from Free Geek, and it originally had it way down on the bottom here. Struggling with my laptop. It's got a 21 slot.
We can't hear you again, Todd.
All right. Let me try and get that. I'm gonna have to put my laptop up here, but
Yeah, your audio keeps breaking up.
okay, it might be because I'm handling my laptop here.
Could just be the
Tell us
connection.
about it first, and then show us the things.
Yeah. So, anyways, this chassis has a CompuPro 21 slot system in it that I got it with, and then I added the reproduction Altair 8800 and a reproduction IMSAI-JAIR in it. I'm still working on bringing it up, trying to get all the power supplies set up for it. So
Cool.
I can try and show you. I've got them all on the full slides.
So is that an Altair 8800C?
Yes. Yeah, that's 8800C.
And the
is the
IMSAI, is that a Parastream?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep, I bought their inside chassis. This is 8800C. That makes MCC Plus, and I haven't brought up yet.
We can't hear you, Todd.
All right, I'll probably just drop out here then. I don't want to try and keep you.
Oh no.
Guessing.
That's all right. Yeah, we
I
hear
think
you
it's,
fine. Go
I
ahead.
think it's a bandwidth issue because if he stays still on his face, the audio remains. But then as soon as the picture's moving a lot, that's a lot more data. And then
Yeah. That's a nice setup they have there, bud.
Yeah.
Though. That's actually really cool.
Yeah,
I
I like
try
how-
to get racks working, but I just never have any good luck. So I've got one or two things that slide. The rest of them I have to drag out.
Yeah, I do like those racks.
Yeah.
Well, some of this old stuff gets so heavy. I've got 2 dual drives on racks. I mean, it's too hard for me to pick up and move it off of shelves and work on it anymore. It's nice having them in the racks.
Yeah, I found some cheap racks, rack slides, and then let me tell you, it's a huge difference between trying to fight them if they're in the rack or pull them out, and then using the slides. Slides are just so much easier.
I spent a lot of time trying to find the right slides and to make things fit, and I had to do some custom mounting and stuff to. I managed to mount the slides on the sides of the inside chassis, and the Altair. I had to kind of use some angle brackets and bolt them onto the underside of the Altair cabinet. But it took a lot of tweaking to get the slides just right. And fortunately, they're easy to remove, so I can pull them out and just take them out and set them on the bench and work on them there if I need to.
Well, I ended up like Terry, where the drawer that you can get with the rack, the little flat drawer, just makes a shelf. That's my compromise.
And the drives
off the slides.
Yeah, the drives are just sitting on the shelves in there, so they're not permanently mounted yet. I still have to figure out how to mount the drives there, but they just slide onto the shelves right now.
Yeah, the slide shelves are a lot easier to use because you could just set your computer on it instead of bolting it in.
Right.
Yeah, actually, from Mike's point of view, Mike's comment earlier, though, we got to watch out which orientation. I didn't realize that, Mike. Which orientation you put the drives in. Because
Well,
of
they even change it for the door spring, which of course
Right.
that's not critical,
yeah,
but it's going to slam harder than it wants to
yeah,
if you have a door up mounting and you're letting it shoot down, of course. But the biggest issue for performance is head load time and pressure based on, well, actually, I don't think the pressure changes. I think that spring stays the same. But yeah, the actual head load mechanism, it's got kind of a counterweight in there with the spring, and sort of like your garage door. If it's not right, then putting too much stress on things. But
yeah. I know it's a good because I didn't know that, so that's you learned something.
Well,
That's great.
normally people don't put them upside down.
that was pretty rare, yeah. Well, no, like Wang put them facing up, so there's no gravity involved at all. On its edge, there's no gravity involved at all. Well, almost none as far as head load. And then, of course, flat upside down or flat upside proper. That's a big difference. But it's in the essay manual.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I have a collection of springs. Although the head load one usually is just where you hook it. You hook the spring to something further back to give more tension. And
That's right.
The
I
door
think
is spring.
that's all I did on these upside down ones. And I think the main reason why I did them upside down was in the chassis, so I could get at the stepper motor, stepper motor round thing, because I still have a problem. I've gone through almost all my drives and I've aligned them, but for some reason I haven't gotten the shaft exactly right. And sometimes when you power them up, they whack against all the way to the end, and then you have to go in and manually turn the shaft.
That I have that problem too, even though I have the stop set. So what I do is, well, mine are always hooked to my FDC Plus. Patrick's. Can your Tarbell routine just move the head?
Yeah, the TFXer.
Yeah, AFXer.
Yeah,
I load AFXer and then just use the step.
Yeah, you do in, out, and or
Yeah.
R.
Okay. So yeah, use TFXer.
Okay, I'll have to
just
get
load that from the monitor with a hex load, and then just go in, just get it somewhere safe, and then it'll boot again.
What I've gotten in the habit of doing is running D before I'm ready to shut the computer down. And D head loads, in, and then I turn it off.
Yeah, that's good.
You had
The early hard drive days in the K-Pro where you do, what do they call it? Safety.
Safety, yep.
Yeah, safety would park the head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that K-Pro I have is my dad's K-Pro. He bought it in the CPM days, of course. He always wanted a computer. Didn't have a good reason to get it, but he convinced my mom to be the church treasurer. And that was his excuse to get an accounting package. So she was treasurer until 2 years ago. She's 93. So she did it for a long time. But interestingly, the software he was running all ran in BASIC. I didn't even think about it back then. I forget the name of it. TCS accounting. Well, that was Altair's accounting packages that were all a disaster that FarmTek bought. That then became Peachtree.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he did my accounting for me when I was starting my business on the side, which has been the business that's kept me alive for the last 40 years now. So I would pull up the K-Pro and I'll look at all my accounting done in BASIC and then so Tom Sanderson, I don't know how many of you know him. He worked for FarmTek and then later he worked for Vector Graphic. But while he worked at FarmTek, the main thing he worked on was the accounting in BASIC. And so he said, okay, look at line 65, 547. And I said, okay, that's a subroutine. And he says, it does this and this, right? I said, yeah, that's it. So in the high numbers were a bunch of the common subroutine utility type routines. I mean, BASIC is a terrible language for a major developer, but they did it anyway. And so this one on my dad's K-Pro matched all these lines in the original Altair one still. So, you know, a lot of the utilities were still in the same place, using the same line numbers as they were from the Altair days. So that was kind of, I wish my dad had passed by then. I'd love to have been able to revisit all that with him. That would have been a
Yeah.
kick.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Mike, I did check real quick, and the second SIO port on the simulator does not do mapping by default.
Okay.
So,
But if I turned on map for the console, would that affect the second one?
no, they're separate.
Okay.
Yeah, so mapping's on by default on port 0, and it's off by default on port 1.
All right. So I could just use PC-Get on the second port.
Yeah.
Leave the console just on the Windows terminal thing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, too late now.
Oh, well, there'll be another project maybe.
Next project. Yeah.
Well, so I got this whole thing working, except we can't find the assembler anywhere for the Motorola Exerciser. But I got Fortran working and everything else, so it's alive again. But we found the assembler for a machine called the Astral 2000. I'd never even heard of it. It's a 6800 machine from back then. So it's different because it's different location for the proms and different location for calling console input and output and the monitor. You know, it was all customized for those kind of things. So I'll eventually have to do some of this all over again, getting that assembler on there. But maybe I'll play with it just so I know how to do it in the future.
Yeah, and another problem with SimH is because I thought, I can enable the throttle when I'm using PC-Get. I'll just turn it off when I'm not. But once you enable the throttle, you can't enable it without quitting the whole simulator and starting over again.
Oh, okay.
And that's like a SimH thing, not a Altair thing.
Altair 8800 can turn it off.
No. I mean, no. One like because it's built on top of SimH.
Okay, so it's still
and SimH, and I wrote Mark about it. I said, hey, it'd be really nice if you can just do that. And he said, nope.
But the disk would still be faster, right?
Well, I mean, your CPU is going to be running it whatever speed you set it at, so you can get it as fast as you can go to where you don't lose.
I mean, there's no seek time at least.
No.
Okay, because so the whole reason I have to do this is I have no way to write the disk with the interleave it uses and all that. So I have to actually let it write it. And it does a verify with write. So the write has a reasonable interleave, but then of course it's a full revolution to verify it. So, I mean, it's a slow process. That would, at least that one step would all be faster.
Yeah, that'd be faster.
Plus I'm not wearing out my media. Plus when I'm done, I don't have to do a flop to PC to get it back because it's already finished. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Please,
you're all good. Hey, so I guess just one thing to share. So I was looking for a method.
You're a young guy.
Yeah. 35, spring chicken, right? But no. I know, Mike, we've had some communications and whatnot. So I guess first off, right? Like, yes, I'm actually building this thing. There we go. Bunch of of cards and whatnot. I guess one question I do have, and I put this in the group, so I'm a little unsure as far as the actual wiring up for the power portion. So I've got the Meanwell power supplies in, just the actual wiring itself. So I guess if any of you guys have done that, you have some photos of just the kind of in depth, like why black wire goes to this area here on like 7.5 volt, this one on 15, this one on the other 15, that sort of thing. That'd be helpful.
Walt drew up a bunch of something of that, didn't you?
If you go to my web page,
why don't you put the link up, Walt?
I'll put the link in the chat. Hang on.
Yeah. Well, he had
drew a bunch of pretty
diagram.
Pretty diagrams. Yeah.
No, that'd be awesome. I just I don't want to fry all this stuff,
Yeah. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. But yeah, just be careful with the 110 side because that will fry you.
Yeah. And again, you start with it with nothing in the on the
Right.
main back plane, and your meter. You make sure you have your voltages right and all that fun stuff. So then you can add in a card or two, and especially if you're adding vintage cards. I have a board that I just stick the vintage cards in, and that has a fuse. I put fuses in line with different things because I've had more fuses. Especially -16 seems to blow on me.
Well, that's because the in your S100 connector, plus 16 and minus 16 are right across from each other, the width of a probe. So you stick a probe in there and slip it all and boom. Well, that's the beauty of the switchers, is they just say, okay, I'll protect myself.
Yeah.
Whereas the old equipment would use a PCB trace as a fuse, of course, or some other undesired behavior.
I was so glad to see the back of my old linear power supply, because that thing from what was that, from 81?
Yeah.
And it was a 25 amp S100 supply. That thing scared the life out of me. Capacitors the size of Coke cans.
I've done a reformation on two Kremenko Z2s, I think they are, and those big things scared the heck out of me as I'm doing them. But I got them both working, and
I just took mine and said, electronic recycling, enjoy.
That's it.
All right, I'm gonna have to take off.
Tinker with things. So,
Todd, you're the one who put me in touch with the guy that had been working on the FDOS stuff, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I thought you recognize the name.
Did you get the disk images and everything from that system?
Oh yeah. So there's all stuff I had, except one of his images had something I'd never been able to get. So I was able to get it off of his disk and complete mine.
Okay.
On a blank of what it was, though. I'll have to go look, but no. And we communicated some. I think he's kind of hit a dead end or off to doing something else because life has called in the meantime.
Yeah, I asked him the other day if he had gotten any further with it. He said he basically just has it up and running as far as he got it. I think last we talked.
Yeah.
So, but I've got one more project that you guys might find interesting here. Over my shoulder is a Texas Instruments Model 780 paper tape punch and reader. This is a really unique one. I've only been able to find 2 pages of a marketing sheet on it from online. And it was originally developed back when they came out with the Silent 700 terminals. And they had a Silent 724 and I think a 735 or something that had a unique parallel interface. And they were set up, and this was designed basically just for those terminals. And as far as I know, that was the only place they sold it. And it has a proprietary parallel interface on it. And I've taken it down. I've completely restored it. It was all, of course, it's all solenoid driven. The read mechanism has a single, actually a pair of solenoids that work together to drive the tape. And it uses optical sensors, but a mechanical drive. And then the punch has 9 separate solenoids on it. And they were completely gummed up from the years. I ended up taking the whole punch assembly out and putting it in a ultrasonic cleaner with ISO and working it for quite a while to get all the gunk out of the solenoids and get that going again. And then I've gone through and I've developed I prototyped a serial ESP32 based serial interface for it. And now I've got the circuit boards, and I was just working on bringing the system up with a GUI and an ESP32 so I can have a serial interface. Have an RS-232 as well as a USB port on it, so I can either come straight from a vintage machine, or I can hook it up to a modern PC. I'll try and get a
cool.
So on the top is the screen GUI and the purple board.
So is one reader, one punch, or are those just 2 of
it? Readers on the left, the punches on the right.
They look so identical.
Yeah,
they are. I mean, virtually the mechanism inside is the same frame and the same structure.
Todd, turn your head to the left a little bit. We can hear you. There.
Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you are. That is cool, bud.
So I've got some work. I've got the GUI working. I got stuff to work out on it.
You're off again, Todd. You gotta aim your mouth at the microphone on your camera.
Yeah, so I'm on an old laptop, so I think my the bandwidth is an issue. I'm literally like 6 inches from my keyboard with my phone, so I don't think I can get.
Todd, put the camera back on yourself, because your voice is not coming through.
I guess.
Oh yeah. That we hear you fine there. Yeah.
The computer is not happy unless it's looking at you.
Exactly. Well, like I said, this was a laptop I just retired last month that I've used for 12 years, and I resurrected it, but apparently it's not liking the Zoom stuff very well.
Yeah, none of us like coming out of retirement.
No, that's for sure. So, anyways, that's an ongoing project. I want to get that so I can hook that up to the Altair and the IMSAI and do some, have some fun reading and punching some paper tapes off there.
Have you managed to source tape?
No, that was one of my next questions. Anybody got a source for paper tape? When I got it, it came with about 3/4 of all I've got. So
Joe, didn't you find some?
Yeah, so the first thing I would say is join Green Keys. It's a chat group. Essentially it's ham radio operators, and they're big into teletypes and stuff. You get there, and every now and then, and this is where because I have I'm still working on it, a ASR33 with the punches and stuff on it that's still being worked on. But from them, I was able to buy, I think, 2 full rolls of it. But it was they had a limited stock. They limited everybody to 1, and you had to wait before you could buy your second roll, kind of thing. But I believe they're sold out now.
I got one. They had black, which is really nice. Optical readers.
Yeah, check your local ham clubs too, because some of those guys might have just cases of them sitting in their basement.
Somebody also said look for is it ticker tape? I don't know if that was it. And then somebody said, and I don't know if it's still used, but on some airports they used to use these paper strips for flights. I don't know how it was used.
Well,
but
those are set to break apart. They're perforated.
Are they?
Yeah, you can't.
Okay. Again, there's just different people said different things to me.
But I've seen online where people have bought the heavy duty adding machine tape, and they just take it on a saw and cut it to the 1-inch widths, and then use that. It works.
As long as you don't get a bunch of powdered paper mixed in with the tape that then gets into the mechanics of the punch.
No, you sand off the part where the saw blade was, so it's not smooth, and then so it goes through the punch and it goes through the readers fine.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes they need to be oiled.
Yeah, it has to be oiled otherwise the punches will wear out.
Well, but the adding machine tape is thinner, so it doesn't rub as much.
Okay.
I could have swore I saw a roll, but it was on eBay, but I thought it was really expensive. I saw
a roll on eBay this morning, but it was not 1-inch tape.
Yeah,
it
was the Russian stuff.
There's a lot of different widths. Surprisingly.
Yeah, it was the Russian. Was it 5/8 of an inch or whatever?
11/16 or
11/16. Yeah, but it was not 1-inch because I looked at that and I thought, "Ooh, that could be useful." Yeah. And then I went, "Oh, not at that width."
Is that the one they want about $40 for? And it's really
something like that.
Yeah. There was and even the one I think I saw, they wanted 60 or 70 for the roll. So again, you pay what you have to if you if you want to do. It's I don't know of any source anybody making it anymore at this point.
Probably not.
Might be a business if somebody can do that kind of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
considering the market.
There's an idea. Look in the white pages or yellow pages for paper manufacturers and bug them and see if one of them is willing to make a case of tapes.
They'd probably be willing to make a 1,000 cases, but not one case.
Yeah,
Otherwise, the cost would be ridiculous.
You know, you get 1,000 rolls or something like that, because they probably, you know, those machines are all adjustable.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It wouldn't be a big deal for them to make some tapes. They just need a demand.
Yeah, I don't know how much demand, you know, on it. I mean, you have people who need it, but
well, there's thousands of vintage computer users, and a lot of them have, you know, different teletypes.
Right.
Not sure if you can see my picture now, but there's kind of a shot. I lifted the lid up on it. There's a punch mechanism.
Yeah.
Todd, we can't understand you.
All right, I was just showing you the punch mechanism on the on that punch.
Yeah, you can see the difference once the lid's off. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a simple circuit board. There's only about 15 ICs on it.
Yeah.
So I was able to reverse engineer the whole thing and figure out how the parallel interface worked on it.
Yeah. The roll 1-inch tape that I saw sold for $49 today.
That's too much.
Yeah.
What did we
definitely
pay for that
pricey.
green key? The green key stuff was cheap. I got that.
It was like $10, something like that,
with shipping or something. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was like, I mean, literally legitimate. What they're it was great that they
just a hobbyist helping out hobbyists. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It funded something. They said it funded something for their club, Chicago. I think it was a Chicago-based club or Illinois, I don't know, something like that. But yeah.
Yeah. So years ago, I had these little plastic boxes that were perfect for rolls of paper tape, like you punched a basic program or something like that. I mean, it's not going to hold a giant one, but most of the stuff you would write, you know, any games, you know, Craps or Star Trek or any of those, and it fit in those perfect. And I bought a few hundred of those and basically sold at my cost to people for about a year. Those are long gone. I should have kept more for myself because now I don't have enough. But
yeah,
I think they were made for paper tapes, from what I recall.
So there's another 3D printer project.
Oh, these were clear, so you could see the label you had on your tape. It was nice.
Yeah.
So Todd, if you reverse engineered the circuit board, now you got to reverse engineer the punch and the reader.
Well, yeah, a little bit trickier.
Yeah.
Readers aren't hard. It's the punch that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's the punch. Exactly. And actually, this has the drive mechanism. It has a little drum with the pins on it to drive the paper tape.
Right.
And one of the pins were on the punch mechanism. It was a plastic one. The pins were all sheared off on it.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay. I'm actually on my third iteration of 3D models for this for the drum. So I took it out, measured it, and then had them 3D printed. The first material didn't work out, so I had it printed in a different material. And then it turned out the pins on the drum were just a slightly too large a diameter.
Ooh.
And so it would kind of enlarge the holes a little bit. So this is my third version. I haven't installed one yet, but it has the pins a little bit smaller, and hopefully that's going to work good to drive the mechanism. And if it worked for the punch, I'll probably replace the reader drive mechanism too, because it's exactly the same.
Cool.
Yeah.
So hopefully sometime in the future go ahead, Mike.
I've had enough of paper tape.
Oh, come on! Your videos have guided me through, you know, just even so much stuff. So
a winder, you know. Having a winder changed it all, especially for the big tapes. So nice to have a winder.
Well, I just want to be able to say. I just want to be able to say it worked once.
Yeah.
If I can get it to work once, then it's like, okay, I'll be happy.
There you go.
Well, that's most of my projects. Is I do it once, make a video, and then it's really not fun anymore. All that paper tape, loading big stuff from cassette, you know, half an hour to load basic, you know, this is not worth it.
It shows you did it once, and it helps other people do it once. So I think it's cool. So.
Have you gotten anywhere with that project where you needed the Y adapter?
No, that's not that. That's actually no, we haven't gotten there yet. So sorry. I got so sidetracked with other things. So I got the Y adapter, and then what happens? I'm watching videos of different things you've done, and I think, oh, geez, I need to get that. So it's better to have it in my hand, knowing that I'm going to use it shortly.
Yeah.
So yeah, what happens? My brother picked up 2 tape punch readers, but I think I'm shipped from like UK, and my mind's blank of the brand. I think it might have been a Trend, Trend, and so we haven't gotten. He hasn't gotten to looking at him yet. He's again, he takes his time looking at stuff.
Is this the same brother with all the stuff in the garage?
Yeah.
He's not cured.
Apparently
no.
not.
Oh no. He doesn't. No. Recently, a deck writer has shown up, in the tape readers. I was all psyched about. Even the deck writer is kind of cool because I played with it years ago. But yeah, so yeah,
I remember doing software development on a deck writer for a summer job, thinking, boy, this is so much faster than teletype. It was 1200 baud, but it was just still miserable.
Yeah.
When you look back on it all.
Again, I remember playing around with them back in high school. We had PDP-8 is what we had in high school, with a bunch of teletype things, and I think they might have had. I don't know if they had a deck writer on that or not. I remember hitting a deck writer somewhere. Maybe when I was in college. I know colleges start off with card punches and stuff like that. That was something else. But yeah, again, but he's so yeah, it's it is what it is. So no, I haven't gotten to the parallel. It's going to be used for that, for those punches to kind of to split them off and stuff. And I think I was watching another video. I was like, oh wait, you did something where you can take a I think my 2 SIO board and hook a modem card to it. I was like, oh, because the modem card was for a cassette. You were doing cassette through it. Right. Yeah, so because I've been playing around with cassette, I have a it was a Moro or a Thinker Toys speakeasy. And I've been playing around with that, trying to get that to work. I can get it to write out stuff, and it sounds like cassette. sounds like sounds right, but when I'm trying to read it in, it's just not reading it in yet. So,
was that meant for that, or was it meant for doing voice?
No, the name is misleading. This is the actual manual.
It's a cassette interface, but
it is a cassette interface, serial and parallel.
Oscilloscope and look at the frequencies. So there should be a test that sends out the high tone and another test that sends out the low tone. And you got to get tweak those things to the right frequencies.
Yeah. So this card has no like UARTs or anything on it. It's all done through software and PROM. They have something called COPE, COPE, and you're issuing commands into memory to run their routines. So it's a little different. But like I said, it's just something I've been playing with. I'll get there. But yeah, well, I may have to look at what it's actually generating. To see what's happening. That was one of the things I've been playing with.
So it just does bit banging for the UART essentially?
Well, there is no UART on the card as far as I can
tell. It does bit banging.
Oh yeah, yes, it's that type of thing. Yes, I believe so.
So that probably requires you have the right speed processor to match all their software.
Didn't even think of that. Probably again,
your 4 megahertz Z80 is probably not going to.
Might not time right for
now
it.
You have a 600 baud modem.
Good point. I don't know. I think I have a 4 megahertz Z80 on the system that I was doing it on. Actually, I think you're right. So I do have the card. Patrick, you sent me that. What was it again, Patrick? Not CB1.
Yeah, the CB1A.
CB1A. That's 2 megahertz, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I'll give that a shot.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks, Mike.
Francis Bauer, I think he has Thinker Toys modem card in one of his Sol 20 computers. So he might be a source of help too.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I haven't really posted looking for help yet, just because part of the fun is banging on it, trying to get things to go. But I actually, and I think Patrick pointed this out to me once before, that when I run if I throw the Z80 card in there, the timing's off on other things that I was trying to do on a different project, a different thing I was messing with. So
even at the same speed, it's slightly different depending on an in and out are different timings than they are on the Altair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very small difference. Hopefully your software isn't that critical to begin with, but it was.
Yeah. So yeah,
that thing where I hooked the modem board up, I was surprised how easy it was to get 2400 baud out of that.
It was great video.
The technique that processor technology used worked really well.
Yeah. So yeah, that's again, that's I'm slowly trying to try different things with different board. I come across different boards, and you buy a bunch of stuff, and it's what's in the bundle. I recently bought something, and then along with it, the guy said, "Well, I got this other unit. Any interest in looking?" It's an Osborne. I had no interest actually in an Osborne, but it came along with it with something I bought. So I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And I haven't even looked at it yet.
What amazed me is that guy that got those boards that realized, hey, this is the same thing as a solid state music IO4.
Yeah.
Which is a great board to have.
Oh, yeah.
Looking chameleon board. And this guy figured out that this processor control company, I forget the name of it, Gould, who bought out somebody else.
ICC Gould.
Yeah. So I bought as many of those as I could and just sold them to people at the price I got them for. You can't find them anymore. They're gone, whatever.
You see them occasionally on eBay come up, but now they're ridiculous price. But they're expensive now as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
they're in really bad shape.
Yeah. Yeah. I went looking for one because I have one IO4 that I built from a kit back in the day, back in the early 80s. Which is what's running my OP80 right now. Is on my IO4.
Yeah, I started laying out your SIO board.
Oh, awesome.
The schematic is pretty much done, and I've started the PCB layout.
Are you going to put 1 or 2 ports on there?
It's going to have 2.
Oh, awesome. So it's basically you get 2 SIOs in a single board.
Yeah, individually addressable.
Didn't you just do that?
What's that?
IO4?
Well, this is the actual SIO.
I know, I understand what you're doing. I was thinking, was it you that emailed me about that?
Yeah, I did. I was setting up on my 8800C. I've got one of Martin Eberhardt's two SIOs, and I've got an IO4, and I wanted to be able to hook up to the cassette interface as well as emulate the SIO. And I figured out if you simply take where the address comparator comes in, where A2 comes into the address comparator, for that comparator, if you add an XOR gate and XOR A1 and A2 together, you end up decoding 0001 and 0607. So you can use the IO4 to decode as both an SIO and an ACR. So I'm going to set that up.
You had to stick one gate down in the spare area, right?
Yeah, right. So it requires an XOR gate. So in the IO4 obviously have space for that. So it takes like 3 wires to do that.
Yeah. So for Altair users, 0 and 6 are handy, and I guess that's what Patrick's going to actually make that board.
Yeah. Yeah. When Patrick and I
Todd just found a fairly simple way to do it with an IO4.
Yeah. Yeah. When Patrick and I talked about it, well, I first asked Patrick about it. That's probably, I said, why not put 2 ports and make them independently addressable? Because that way, you could do whatever you want. But even on the 2 SIO, it would be useful sometimes if they were independently addressable, depending on what you're trying to do. But let's not modify that board. It works well enough.
And I put the 6-pin header on it for Mike, your ACR board.
Oh, awesome!
And it also, and then it'll put and with the jumper, it'll put the 5 volts out on. I think it's pin 18.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
It should plug into your board.
Well, is it to go to the 6-pin header on mine or to the DB25?
Well, I'm going to do both. I'm putting a 6-pin header and a DB25.
Okay.
And be able to put the 5 volts out on the DB25.
And with my super advanced skills, I'm still working on getting the 10-pin to DB25 adapter.
Yeah, and it's gonna have the 14 pin ID.
Right.
See, I'm never going to make those boards again. I don't know how many I have left. Those were for the Altair clone.
Uh-huh.
Right.
If I had an endless supply, I'd say do the non-inverted RS-232. Use the 5-volt straight.
Oh, the TTL connector.
Yeah, that goes to the. That way, you don't have to have any of that stuff in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 6-pin. Well, actually, the 6 pins TTL.
Right.
And then the other
the
one is RS-232.
The other ones are RS-232, but I'm also thinking of putting a TTL on just for that too.
Oh,
Because what I do is I pre-put that 5-volt to pin 18 wire on there.
Uh-huh.
That's a pain in the ass. I don't like doing it. So if anybody had your board and they said, "Oh, good. I'm not going to do that wire for you then. Here, just use the 6-pin header instead."
Yeah, well, that's true. I did put a jumper on it, and the jumper's going to be off by default, but because I don't want 5-volt going out there, people aren't expecting it. But yeah, or just leave it off.
Well, pin 18 is pretty darn safe. I looked at it. Just you don't see that ever for the most part on RS-232.
Yeah, I mean, the extra pins on RS-232 are rarely used. Some old equipment uses them. When I was back in the days when I was working as a network engineer, you would find occasionally weird stuff that used more pins.
They use it to power up something or turn this or that off.
Yeah, and all the handshaking pins.
Yeah,
you go back far enough and they were all used.
Yeah,
they were all used for something.
Pretty, it's but anyway, if you again, I hate putting that little blue wire on there. So if you can go straight to the other header where the 5 volts actually is, that'd be great.
Yeah. Okay. When they actually, when data comes out the port and they seem to work, I'll send you guys.
Awesome.
Types.
Hey, Mike, does your cassette interface board, does that support the Kansas City what was that 1200 2400 frequencies as well as the Altair frequencies?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to remember.
Didn't you have to
update the firmware yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's new. Although you have to drop the baud rate to 300 to update it because there's no handshaking. So not overrun the pick, you have to go 300 baud. Anyway, so that's one thing. So you can change it yourself.
So as a firmware update.
The original firmware used the 2 Altair frequencies, which are what, 2400, 1850? I think that's it. Well, the original ones were the Bell ones, which is what, 2240 and 2400 and 2250. But that was so narrow they had problems, so they dropped the lower one.
Okay.
It will detect and read the KCS, but it won't write the KCS.
Oh, okay.
It always writes the 1850.
Okay.
But it'll pick up the 2412. I mean, from an engineer standpoint, the 2412 was not good because the harmonic is 2400.
Sure. Right.
But then at these frequencies, who really cared,
Right.
What if we just put the ACR on this SIO board I'm making?
There you go.
Oh, there's no analog to it really. Mine's just a pick in there.
Yeah, I would just shove the pick on. I'm just put your board on this board.
And just put a couple of jacks on the top of the
audio connector or two. Yeah.
Yeah. Then
it's
it's
an interesting option.
Then it's an ACR and 2 SIO ports.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because I look at your schematic, it looks like there's not a lot to it.
Oh, there's nothing.
The pick does it all. Huh.
I saw in the forum one time, a couple of guys got together with their cassette interface. Instead of going to cassette tapes, they were sending the tones over the telephone line to talk, so one computer could talk to the other via.
Let's call that a modem.
Yeah.
But they were using the cassette modem instead of regular modem.
Hey, Mike, you remember what pick that is?
1823.
Is that the
16F 1823?
Is that the same as the front panel board or a different one?
That's a 16F. 1828.
Okay.
It's the same thing, more pins.
Okay.
And then I used the 1824 and some other stuff. The 1823 is like the 1824, just less capacity, RAM and stuff.
Okay. And I did. Is that a dip or is that?
Mine's service mount, but you can buy it in a dip.
Can you get a dip? Okay.
Now, Microchip makes all their chips in both formats.
Well, not all by any means.
Yeah, not all of them.
The low pin counts probably, yeah.
Well, I should say all the older ones.
Which really surprises me that they do that. It comes in handy for us hobbyists.
Oh yeah,
it sure does. I've surface mounted by hand one chip, and I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, that's been my nightmare this week. I got my VT132.
oh yeah.
And in mounting the ESP32 on it, I have managed to get a permanent short between pins 1 and 2 that I cannot get to go away. It's really annoying. My gut, it's because of the way it's done, is it mounts on top of the board. There's no cutout underneath. And I think the solder is just wicked under between the two boards and connected the two pads underneath the ESP32. So I think what happened.
So you almost need like one of those ovens or something to heat up so you can remove it and clean it up.
Yeah, but that would also disassemble the ESP32, which has got service mount chips on it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not quite sure what I'm doing yet with this.
You can't get a solder sucker to pull it out?
I have been trying. I put 2 or 3 hours into trying to get it to fix. I think I'm going to have to try again with a new one.
I just had to buy a new one. I got so mad at mine. I use it for work.
Yeah.
And it's just constantly clogging up, and I get so mad at it. And it's an expensive pay station.
Yeah.
And they give you these things, these little metal rods for cleaning them out, and those things. It's a whole collection that are tangled with each other constantly. But only 3 of them are about the right size. The rest of them are just in your way and wasted. I never have found the other products these other cleaning pins are for, but anyway, they get bent, and it's just, I get so mad when the thing's clogged again because it's just always clogged. And yet, supposedly, it's still one of the best ones you can get. I don't know. I got so mad at it the other day, and I just smashing it on my table. I fixed it. It worked again.
Oh, great.
I figured it's time to buy a new one. So, yeah, I just had to order a new Pace workstation. But, yeah, those aren't cheap.
Yeah. Bit of percussive maintenance always helps.
Not always, trust me.
True.
Hey, but I'm the one paying the bill, so if I ruin it, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. When you work for somebody else and you're using percussive maintenance, you hit a lot harder.
You get in trouble then.
Yeah, well, if you do a good enough job most of the time, you can get away with it.
So I put a link to the dip on there for you, Patrick. DigiKey has it. I'm sure Mauser will too. So yeah, it is.
Thanks. And now that I mean, when I blew up my FDC Plus, now I know I can program this stuff. So
yeah, you'd have to program it the first time, and then after that, well, I mean, you can see what you want to do with it. I'll send you the code.
Yeah, that might be something to put on there.
Yeah, it's not going to take up much extra real estate, and at the $1.65 for those chips, it's not going to add much to the
Yeah, especially if you're running out of your boards and you might not be doing any more. So
yeah.
But yeah, don't put it on until it's sold all
that's later.
Yeah. How many do you have left?
I don't know. I'll have to look. I mean, of course, I sold, 5 or 6 of them went right after those video series, but then, yeah, that was not many since then.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do the SIO ports first with the 6-pin header, and then maybe
worry about that later.
Or maybe add that later, especially if you run out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to testing that.
Yeah, that'd be a handy combo.
Me too. The PCB layout's the hard part.
Yeah, so I ran into that all the time, and the only computer I had that could do both was my Altair clone. And so I would use it all the time for doing things with paper tape or cassette, or using a cassette port as using real paper tape with what the Altair thought was a cassette port. So you hook a real paper tape to port 6.7, then you can just use all the Altair software for cassette, which is very handy. Or if I wanted to punch from CPM, I have port 6.7 in the IO byte, and so I could just redirect CPM to that, and I could punch to a high-speed punch. And so yeah, I use that all the time, but I always had to just, rather than drag out an IO4 board and all that other stuff, I would just hook up my Altair clone because it had both of those in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, having it for real would be handy.
Yeah, I used my IO4 to do the OP80. That was before you started joining us. I actually managed last year in December, so it was still in 2025, to load Basic 1.0.
Yeah.
I did a demo on the call here.
Yeah, because I had expected SIO. Oh, the original SIO was handshaked.
Yeah. Really?
Oh yeah. So basically any SIO you see is going to be modified to technically be SIO version 1.
Mm-hmm.
There were eventually SIO 1s made, but most of them were zeros modified to be a 1. The original one, you had to handshake every byte, kind of like a parallel port. And the question was, why did they do that? It makes no sense. Because they were talking to a teletype, right? And we've all used teletypes. That didn't do it. But what I found was, boy, it took me years to find this. I found a teletype manual that talks about a computer interface, because normally they were telex or dial-up or whatever, right? And it was that handshake format.
Oh, okay.
So the original SIO talked to teletypes that used not the UCC6, must have been something similar before that, or some sort of data interface besides the UCC6 that handshook every byte. So that's what Bill Gates and them talked to first. But that didn't last long because I guess DEC and everybody else was doing it different. And they said, well, let's do it that way instead.
Yeah.
But yeah, very oddball thing, the very first one.
Yeah. But I if you go back and watch, Walt has all the videos, you can see my OP80 with all its glory, with the 3D printed crank for the tape.
Oh yeah, no, I did watch that one. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And David Hansma did the one where he made it out of Lego. What's that?
Yeah.
I forget. One of those controller things, and it did motors and everything.
Yeah. I thought I tell it, when I was working on getting it working, I would have killed for a motor because I must have cranked that tape through there 100 times before I finally got everything working the way I wanted.
Oh.
But yeah, I used the serial port to be the SIO off my IO4 and then the parallel port on the OP80.
And put it at 6.7.
Yeah. And then so I used,
Did I send you that little board?
Yep. Yeah, you sent me the board. Yeah. I used Altmon to hex load the loader. So I had 2 terminals up. It was pretty fun. But yes, he's hex loaded the loader.
2 SIO, yeah.
Yeah, so I got a 2 SIO hex loading the loader and then run the loader to run the tape, and then it would come up on the other console.
You did use the switches?
I did not use this. I've not hand loaded it. I have not done that in 40 years.
Or you could have put the what's it called? MBL ROM in there, multi-boot loader ROM, I guess.
Well, multi-boot loader won't work with Basic 1.0.
Oh, 1.0. Yeah.
Yeah, because what's his name? Chris, is it? That's making the cases now?
Yeah.
Yeah, he sells 1.0 punch tapes for like $25. So you can get, that's what I started with.
The old anniversary.
Yeah, so I made a few mods to that to make it work for everybody.
Yeah.
One was you could do a 2 SIO version.
Right.
The other was it was a SIO version 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other was get rid of escape in the sign-on message because that escape gets picked up by a smart terminal and thinks the sequence is coming.
Yeah. But I noticed, even running it, a version of Basic is full of bugs.
Oh, yeah.
It's full of bugs.
If you read the newsletters and stuff, it was never meant to be used. It was purely a demonstration that it was good enough. The Altair could do it, and here's how close we are. Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, that was my whole point last year was his 50th anniversary. I bought the punch tape, and I thought, maybe I should see if I can work this work. It only took me 7 months.
Yeah, somebody wrote that up.
I was just saying, is that punch tape that Chris sells, does that require Rev 0 SIO or a Rev 1?
Yes. No,
Does
well,
require-
I don't. I use my IO4, so whatever the IO4 is.
That's a Rev 1, which is
It's a
Rev
Rev 1.
0 mod, which is pretty much all you'll find if you have a real board.
Rev 1, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fun project. It was a fun project.
I bought one of those tapes too, so I'll get there eventually.
Well, if you look on Walt's website, there is a page that lists everything I went through to get it working in detail.
I think I've probably been to that website. I didn't realize it was yours.
It's Walt. So it's Walt put it up on his website. I don't have a website.
Thank you, Walt.
Yeah, but it has everything I went through to get it working, including the 3MF files if you want to print my magical cranks system. Which actually, yeah, give me a second here. I've got
an actual electric pipe.
Yeah, if you can't find something on the website, just send me an email. I can give you a link.
Sounds
good.
All right, guys. Hey, I gotta hop off.
All righty.
Yeah, that was my
Take care, Patrick.
Great seeing all you guys. Have a good.
Good to see you, bud.
That was my transport system.
Oh, nice.
All 3D printed, and that's the little book reading light, which I found worked great for illumination.
Yeah, LEDs don't work as good as incandescents, I've noticed.
This is an LED, and if I put it on the right temperature, it's a little book reader. It works perfectly.
Good.
So
I had to really tweak mine as well. Oh, you got it all nice and fixed there, so it can't go wrong. That's handy.
Yeah, but yeah, the little hand cranks and so you can wind the tapes.
Cool.
It was exciting watching them do it. I'm telling you.
Especially since, of course, like most things vintage, it failed the first time I demoed it.
Yeah.
I put the link to that page in the chat.
Huh?
I put the link to your page in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
There you are.
But yeah, if you want to go down that path, I used an IO4 to do everything, which literally required 2 chips to be swapped. Well, 1 technically, but 2 chips to be swapped to invert the pin shaking.
The 368 and the 367s, yeah.
Right, and a couple of wires on the back of the board for the parallel port, and then one of Mike's little adapter boards. And mine, by the way, if anybody's interested, I have a little 3D printed box that fits over your little tiny adapter board. So you don't have to worry about it banging around and shorting out.
Yeah. Yeah, I have little pieces of pink anti-static foam that I prop little boards on just to be safe whenever I'm doing dangling wires.
And ever since I got a 3D printer, my first thought is, I'm a mechanical engineer. What can I say? Amongst other things. My first thought is, oh, I can design that. And now I can print it.
Yeah, so we were talking about that basic 1.0. I need to find that write-up. I can't remember whether I did it based on what somebody told me or they did it. But basically, version 1 was never good enough to sell or use. Technically version 1 was version 2. So version 2 from MITS is considered the first distribution basic.
Okay.
And then there was something interesting about what made them come up with 3. Oh, actually, I think I talk about this in the video where I'm validating whether Microsoft kept their promise about doubling the speed of the floating points.
Oh, yeah.
That was where that got me started on that. Is somebody found basic 2, I think.
Yeah.
And I had basic 3. So yeah, that's where that all came from. So basic 2, I think I explained in that video. That was the first production version. So that's technically 1. And then the first after that was version 3, where they doubled the floating point. And then version 3.2, which is really common. That's where they improved just overall flow, and it got a lot faster. 3.2 was their first fully fast all the way around compared to the early ones.
Yeah. Well, my next punch tape project is sitting right here. There's a guy on eBay that sells the little punch tape loadable monitor with the editor, the assembler, and the debugger.
Yeah.
So I bought a set of those. So that's the next thing to bring up.
There you are. Yeah.
That one takes some patience.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. Actually,
all I can tell you is don't type a command and see what happens when you get the monitor up.
Okay.
I mean, that's the first thing you boot is what's called the monitor.
Yeah, right.
And you get a prompt. And what do you do at a prompt?
Yeah, you
type something to see what happens. Just I have a little 2-page write-up. Just do not type anything that you don't know for sure what you're typing, because it goes off and wants to load that tape at that instant.
Okay.
And you're hung.
Yeah, well, I'm expect to be hung multiple times. Does it use the 2SIO for the console or the SIO?
That's the default 2SIO.
Oh, awesome. So I don't have to worry about...
Actually, no, I think it's all choosable just like you do for BASIC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
just know that the switches are a little different because there's an interrupt, enable, or disable switch.
Yeah. Like I said, that's next on my list.
Cool. That's a nice setup.
And that's what 3D printers do.
I was going to say, did
you
you 3D print that?
Hell yeah. Well, this is the standard spool for my transport mechanism. So I 3D printed a bunch of those. Yeah. And then I
metal
made
insert on the hub.
Huh? Yeah, I use that's a little brass insert. So I use those for threads all the time because they last a lot better.
Yeah.
So to swap tapes on mine, you take 2 screws out, take the thing out, put the new one in, put 2 screws in. And then the hubs have a little slot for the end of the tape. So on the take-up side, you just slot it in, and yeah.
It's like playing an 8mm movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally non-standard, but it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found the standard
for this time. Maybe try to take that setup and see if you can put a motor on it. Save yourself the cranking.
Yeah, yeah.
I tell you, that big old winder with the wood handle that I have in my videos, that thing's geared. It's extremely satisfying to crank. I enjoy turning that one. It's got a counterweight on the handle. I mean, it's the way they built stuff in the old days just boggles my mind. Yeah. Have you seen the 1/4 inch, that the switchboard plugs that the ladies used on the old days?
Oh, yeah.
They also use them with the old Model 15 teletypes and stuff I have. Have you ever seen how those plugs are made compared to a guitar plug today? I mean, they're solid brass. It's machined out. I mean, I can't even describe it.
Right.
But what makes sense is that Bell owned all that stuff and made all that stuff. And so if it lasted 50,000 insertions, all the better for them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but man, the durability of that thing compared to what we make now is like, my goodness. Impressive.
Oh, yeah.